Hi, everybody. My name is Christie Hoeye, and this is my Community Needs Assessment Project for SWG 585, and I'm in Section B. So my community needs assessment is surrounding how the lack of resources for low-income families plays a negative role in a child's development and their educational outcomes. This means that those children from low-income families will have to work much harder in order to be successful compared to their peers who are on a higher socioeconomic status. So for the purpose of this assignment, we conducted 2 interviews. The first interview was conducted in person with a human resources social worker located at the Paiute Neighborhood Center. The second interview was conducted over the phone with a social worker with the Head Start program. Both of these interviews were conducted on June 21st, 2021. So the first agency is the Paiute Neighborhood Center, and this community is considered a promise neighborhood. So this program is designed around a results framework with 10 results that the community aims to achieve. These results include helping children be ready for kindergarten to helping teenagers graduate from high school while promoting a stable community. This specific promise neighborhood is located in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it aims to provide a safe and diverse environment where people can come together to create a spirit of community. The second program is the Head Start Services program. This program promotes school readiness for infants, toddlers, and preschool-age children from low-income families, and the services are offered through early learning development, health and physical development, and family well-being. The program is available at no cost for those ages 4 to 5 from low-income families. So due to the time restraints of this presentation, I'm not going to go into detail of every interview question. However, you can pause this video and you can go ahead and look at each question individually. However, the results portion of this presentation will reflect these questions summarized into main themes. So the first main theme that I found was that there are many challenges, both financial and other challenges, that low-income families face in obtaining a quality education. So in particular, schools in low-income neighborhoods receive much less funding from the government than those in a higher socioeconomic neighborhood. There are also psychological and physical issues that are more prevalent in those who have less education, and those are higher rates for those people. Teachers are often poorly funded, and they are less motivated to encourage success in their students compared to teachers from highly funded schools. Oftentimes, these teachers feel underappreciated. Another factor is that parents may be less available to assist in homework or projects as they spend more time working. And lastly, there is the aspect of less access to technology that makes distance learning much more difficult, and this was especially a big challenge in regard to COVID-19. So the other main theme was there is a big lack of knowledge surrounding resources. So this is one of the biggest barriers for low-income families, and that's just getting access to resources, as they don't have the lack of knowledge of what resources are or are not available to them. So both of these agencies market through social media, tabling events, and flyers and brochures at mental health and resource agencies to get the word out there. One of the quotes that I found very interesting from the Paiute Neighborhood Center social worker was, she said, "People are surprised when they learn about the resources available to them. It really makes us wonder how much of an impact we would have if everybody knew about our resources." So the other main theme was that there is little community involvement in making a change for quality education access to everybody. So from the Head Start program, one quote was that if it does not directly affect you, then you most likely won't care. Meaning those who have access to a quality education are not concerned about those who do not have the same access. So again, this just goes on to say that the economic status of the community is a really big deciding factor on the amount of funding a school gets and the money that goes towards schools, and ultimately the amount of money that goes towards the youth and their development. Also, low-income families are often more focused on working again, and they have a harder time being as available for PTO or PTA groups to advocate for their children. So they are not as readily available as those in a higher socioeconomic status who may be able to have babysitters or nannies or things along those lines, or other caretakers. So for my recommendations, I broke it down on the micro, meso, and macro level. So my recommendation for the financial challenges for low-income families on the micro level is to work with parents from low-income families to develop a financial plan to afford a quality education. This could be savings, education, etc. On the meso level, this is to develop funding opportunities to assist youth from low-income families to have a proper education. On the macro level, this is adjusting policies so that the educational funding is more evenly dispersed and includes low-income communities. My access to resources recommendations on the micro level is to educate individuals about how to research resources and what resources are available to them as a low-income household. On the meso level, it's to develop community resource education programs and workshops. On the macro level, this may be creating policies that advocate and support low-income families. To promote community engagement and increasing access to resources, my recommendation on the micro level would be to educate all statuses on the challenges facing low-income families in hopes of more people wanting to contribute to make a change. On the meso level, it's creating a training program for PTA and PTA groups to learn about resources available to their community. And on the macro level, after policy changes are set in place, we can research the effects of those changes and publish journals based on the results and use those results to educate. I will share my findings with the agencies by sharing this presentation with them via email, and I will send out the email once the grading for this assignment is complete. So one factor that made my needs assessment successful were the weekly modules that we completed during SWG 585, and those helped me feel fully prepared for the needs assessment. The knowledge of macro practice helped set me up for success. One factor that hindered the effectiveness of my needs assessment was that being in an accelerated course, it was difficult to get in contact with agencies by the due date. This has a lot to do with COVID-19 most likely and how busy those agencies are responding during these times. In the future, it would be beneficial to communicate to agencies how quickly the turnaround would be for interviewing. Overall, when it comes to my experience, I am thankful for the opportunity to have interviewed these agencies. Unfortunately, if it was not for this class and this assignment being required, I likely would have never done something like this. So for that, I'm thankful. While the work that these agencies are doing is incredible and they are making a major impact on community resource accessibility, I found myself recognizing just how much work is left to be done. The work is not done, and we as social workers have much more work to do, and I'm eager for our futures. And here's my references. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.